Hi, this is Gregory Vita. I'm in front of D'Angelo's Pizzeria in Albertson, New York. It was one of the places that John Sonny Franzese was arrested for shaking down. I just want to tell you the story, how it went down. The owner, Angelo, originally had a couple of businesses, and he was partners with his cousin. And his cousin was taking all the money, and he beat up Angelo a couple of times. He beat him up bad in front of his kids. He smacked him around customers. And Angelo had asked me to talk to Sonny for protection. I didn't want to get involved because Sonny had his son around him, John, and everything John gets involved with ends up in a disaster. But John went and told his father, and Sonny, did everything very diplomatically and told everybody to stay the hell away from this guy, whatever. If they want to fight with Angelo, they have to fight him first. So what happened was, from there, Angelo basically became a partner of Sonny's. He was paying Sonny a couple $100 every week, I think $300 every week, for probably about 10 years. And that's the story of D'Angelo's Pizzeria in Albertson. I'm at the last plot right now of the Franzese family. John Franzese, he died in 2020, and he's buried here with other family members. I was close friends with his daughter, Gia, who died in 1990. She died about 10 days after I was sentenced in 1990. Her brother John admitted during the 2010 trial of Sonny Franzese that he gave his sister the lethal packet of cocaine that killed her. Under cross-examination by defense attorney Richard Lynn, John Franzese did admit that he gave his sister that packet of cocaine, and while she was calling him because she was dying, and she was afraid to call the police or whatever, so she called her brother, her older brother, and he never answered the phone, and she called about 20 times. And John Franzese told Richard Lynn, "I was getting high." He put his 94-year-old father in jail. He killed his sister. His sister was very afraid of him. Even before that lethal packet of cocaine, she was running in and out of the 3rd Precinct in Nassau County, saying her life was in danger, and she was mentioning John's name. I seem to think that she went out with, Michael's partner, Larry Carrozza, for a long time, well, at least a year or whatever, and I think she knew something about the murder. I don't know if Michael was involved or whatever, but it happened in California, and it's just strange and weird that a guy would give his own sister a packet of cocaine. At Sonny's sentencing, the 2 FBI agents who were working with John Franzese and Potato, I went up to them and I said, did you guys have to do this to this guy? And they both put their heads down and said, we have to do what our boss told us to do. I said, you guys should be ashamed of yourself. And all those tapes that they had of Sonny supposedly putting, heads in microwaves and cutting people up in kiddie pools and stuff like that. Anybody that knows Sonny, he's not much for words. And he did not, there's no way in hell that he said that stuff. They just had a year or two of tape recordings from his son, and they just spliced things together like they did with Junior Gotti, and they got away with it because Sonny didn't have a lot of money to go to trial. He had a court-appointed attorney who, did the minimum for him. He didn't have any investigators. He didn't have any specialists to check out the FBI tapes. And they relied mostly on his son's testimony, I think it's just terrible that, the stuff that he made up about his father to try to cash in on him. And there was a part where John Franzese said that, Sonny had a bunch of body shops, and they had acid pits there, according to him, in the body shop. And, that's where Sonny, dissolved bones in people's bodies. And first of all, I've known hundreds of people that had body shops. I've never seen an acid pit in any body shop. Sonny never owned any body shops. He never worked a day in his life. And his son John definitely never worked a day in his life. He just lived home with his mother till he was 50 years old. He was known as, in my neighborhood, as a chooch, or people would call him behind his back a sorry ass. I think it's just terrible that, the stuff that he made up about his father to try to cash in on him, but that's John Franzese, Sonny's last remaining days were in Regal Heights. It was in Jackson Heights, Queens. It was right off of Northern Boulevard
It was basically like a Section 8 housing. He was a World War II veteran, and that paid for his stay there. His family never contributed a penny, to help him. In fact, I tried so hard to get him out of jail, and basically they wanted him to stay there because they didn't want to take care of him. So as soon as he came out, they dumped him in a nursing home, and they did it in a strange way. Originally, he was paroled to his daughter's house, and about 2 weeks later, they said that the daughter was going on vacation and he was just going to stay there for like a week, and they left him there. And Sonny, in his own words, he said, "My family double crossed me," and it was really heartbreaking. I mean, I tried so hard to get him out of jail. I spent money, everything, and it really bothered them. They hate me. They hate. In the end, they made sure they had custody over him, and they made sure that I couldn't visit him anymore at the Regal Heights nursing home. They hated me for getting him out of jail, and there's been videos where people make comparisons with Michael Franzese and Michael Corleone, and Michael Corleone was a fictional character, but he wasn't a snitch, and he was very protective over his father, very protective over his family, his sister, his parents, and that's not Michael Franzese. It's all made up. He's a con man.